sniper class in TF2 seems like it is a bit of a hot topic in the game today due to the bot crisis and people having strong opinions about the sniper. Some say that he is overpowered and needs a nerf. Others think that sniper should be removed from the game altogether. However, I disagree with these stances. I think sniper is a fundamental part of the game because he, like any other class, can cause other players to actively make plays or decisions based on him when he is skilled enough. In any case, that is not the point of this video. Today, I want to discuss the nuances of aiming as a sniper. We'll cover some different aiming styles and then dive into the weeds with a discussion about where these aiming styles come from. First up, let's talk about leading your shots. Leading is basically when you place your crosshair in the direction that you anticipate your enemy to move in. For the sniper, this would often look something like placing your crosshair ahead of your opponent's head, in the hopes that they travel past your crosshair so that you can aim down your scope and click on their skull for a critical hit. This is probably my preferred way of hitting shots more reliably. I find that it works well for me because I usually have a decent sense of where people are going to move. Some of the pros of this approach, or this aiming style, are that, as I mentioned, it's more reliable, and it is probably suited for a more careful approach, which is probably how sniper is best played anyways. Throwing caution to the wind as a sniper with high risk, high reward plays when you just sort of waltz right into the enemy has a low chance of working out in your favor. Unless, of course, you're Jay, the invite player. Some cons of this approach are that people can move unpredictably or not how you expect. New players, people that don't know where they're going, people that know unpredictable movement makes them harder to hit and thus exploit that, can all prove to be pretty difficult to lead a shot on. Another potential con is that you may have to reset or rescope multiple times to get a shot lined up. This would look something like if you predicted incorrectly a few times as far as the direction your opponent's going to move in. You might zoom out or unscope, I suppose, only to then rescope and make another prediction of, oh, I thought they were going to move left, but they moved right, and then you make that prediction and then they change again, and you have to reset again, which doesn't really accomplish much except wasting a little bit of time and not doing any damage to your opponent.
No!
I don't have metals to attack him. I let him look here.
There's a classic sniper behind us!
Ratio, he does not exist.
He's not.
Where is he? Wait, what?
In the water behind us.
Oh, that's fucking hilarious.
He hit me.
Next, I'd like to talk about flick shots. Flick shots are basically when you zoom your mouse quickly to one spot of the screen to go for a usually very risky shot. These shots are most often taken when you're confronted with a close combat scenario where you're likely to die, and taking a quick flick shot is your last-ditch effort to bring the enemy down with you, or even survive by killing them with a quick, well-placed shot before they can kill you. These shots are also useful if you're going for some sort of huge fancy shot, like on a demo man or soldier, that's flying through the sky at a high speed, because it's exceedingly difficult to properly lead a shot when someone is going fast enough. Some pros of this approach are that it can be useful as a last-ditch effort in close encounters, where someone is getting in your face, but that's only if you can actually headshot them, of course. It can also be useful as a way to get quote-unquote glory kills on people that are zooming through the air. So this might be your go-to choice aiming style when you're going for some sort of huge airhead shot on someone that's getting sent into the skybox or just explosive jumping through the air. Some cons of this approach are that if you miss even one flick shot on an enemy who's fighting you up close, that usually means you're dead. You may be better off taking a quick body shot at an enemy who's getting in your face for a quick, more reliable 50 damage chipped off them, and then trying to finish them off with either the SMG, your melee weapon, or more body shots. Another point is that although this is going to be less impressive, you can usually shoot an opponent when they land on the ground if they were in the air for some reason. You also might not even need to. They may just crater when they hit the ground. So it could be a more reliable way if your focus is strictly just taking that enemy down. But if you're just going for the glory kills, then have at it. Go for the flick shot. It's also worth noting that people will also sometimes refer to flick shots as simply flicking or even quick scoping.
You didn't have to fuck me like that.
He's not a carrot.
Bro, that's a spy.
Next, let's talk about predicting. Predicting blends into the previous two aiming styles because they both rely, at least somewhat, on prediction. I guess pure prediction aiming taken to its logical endpoint would look something like someone playing sniper and closing their eyes every time they're about to take a shot. Just to purely rely on their prediction based on where they last saw the enemy. Which doesn't really sound like the most effective way to play sniper. Feel free to try it, let me know if it works for you. But in all honesty, I don't know that pure prediction aiming is something that's really used. I think prediction is a component of both leading shots and taking flick shots. When you lead a shot, you're making a prediction on where the enemy will move. You place your crosshair where you think the enemy will go, thus making a prediction. When you perform a flick shot, you're predicting where their head will be when you fire. A lot of the times, predicting where it'll be, throwing your crosshair there, aiming and shooting, and hoping for the best. I feel as though I have gained some boost to my prediction abilities from playing soldier so much. I think it has helped me a lot with my ability to predict an enemy's movement, since hitting projectiles relies heavily on prediction. And perhaps that is maybe the one upside to being a soldier main that goes to try and play sniper. I think the aiming style when playing soldier can be a little bit wonky and unpredictable. You might be throwing out some rockets left, right, trying to connect a direct that you can't really guarantee is going to hit the enemy. You're just hoping that they move where you sent the rocket. But a sniper, you have to paint your crosshair on the enemy and click directly on them, which is not the same as using a projectile-based weapon. So ultimately, I'd say that going from being a soldier main to then trying to play sniper effectively is not the easiest transition. The last aiming style that I want to cover here is tracking. This is something that everyone who plays FPS games has probably heard of at some point. It's probably the most traditional or vanilla way of hitting shots in FPS games, and this simply refers to tracking an enemy with your crosshair. That is, trying to keep your crosshair on an enemy while they move, so moving your crosshair with them. I find that this approach is probably best for something like an automatic weapon, perhaps something like the pistol in T-Forge 2 or the Heavy's minigun. But this approach can be pretty tough as far as sniper is concerned, especially depending on your mouse sensitivity. Tracking a slow-moving class like the Heavy might be no problem, but tracking a scout zooming around with the babyface's blaster or a demo man zooming through the air from a double sticky jump seems borderline impossible. Tracking can be useful for quickly damaging or taking down two types of enemies, in my opinion. One being bigger, slower targets, such as the Heavy, or even the soldier. And 2, enemies that don't see you or don't know that you are tracking them. Oftentimes it's easier to track someone when they do not know that you're watching them because their movement will be more relaxed. That is, they won't be actively jumping and dodging and twisting around to try and not get headshot by you. Some of the pros of tracking are that it is easy to understand. The name makes sense. It all just sort of has a pretty low bar for understanding. And 2, it's good for taking down, as I mentioned, slow or unaware targets. Some cons of this approach are that it gets exceedingly difficult to track a target the faster they become, and or the more wary they become of you. For example, if you headshot someone once, they're now going to be more cautious about their movement and positioning so they do not keep getting headshot by you. A common example I've experienced is that, say there's a demo knight on the enemy team. The moment you headshot them, if you don't kill them, they immediately charge away, likely back to a spawn room or behind cover or to a health pack. So that is an immediate reaction to them taking a headshot. And tracking someone that does have that reaction to movement, to you damaging them, makes it really hard for you to just consistently track an enemy. This brings me to my main point of adopting a hybrid approach. I believe that it's best to utilize the proper tools, or aiming styles, whenever they're needed. Each of these aiming styles brings something unique to the table, and I believe each should be used depending on the circumstances one finds themselves in. For example, is there a heavy waltzing to the objective that doesn't know that you're watching him? Simply track his head while you charge up a shot to instant kill him. Another example could be, is there a scout that's getting in your face while you have 20 health? Best bet there, probably go for the flick shot, hope for the best. Or is an enemy scout dancing all around your medic trying to kill him? Perhaps you can lead your shot by placing your crosshair where his head will be and save your medic. For example, if you know he's going to charge in a straight line to your medic, you can preemptively place your crosshair in the path that his head will cross, and voila, you've saved your team's medic. I believe that my own aiming style is something that I would call blender aim, because I think I just sort of rely on my ability to use any of these aiming styles when the situation calls for it. To clarify, I'm not the best sniper, nor am I a sniper main. I just happen to enjoy playing as a sniper from time to time. Additionally, I'll note that these aiming styles can pretty much be applied to any hit-scan weapon, but the sniper is a bit different in most cases because you often want to scope in before taking your shots, unless of course you're using the classic for some reason. Sniper is a class that is easy for new players to understand. He has a rifle, he stands far away, and he shoots people. This appears similar to components of many other FPS titles, so that familiarity can paint Sniper as a good go-to choice for newcomers. However, sniping in TF2 is vastly different from sniping in a game like Counter-Strike Global Offensive. There is no slow-moving fat Russian man in CSGO. There is no Boston man running around with accelerated movement speed in CSGO. In CSGO, the players all have the same movement speeds and the same hitboxes, as far as I know. So you only need to get acquainted with hitting those. This creates a unique quality for sniping in TF2 because you have to account for different movement speeds, explosive jumping capabilities, different player heights, etc. Granted, the basics are the same. You point at the head and you click. But TF2 has a unique sniping environment that takes some getting used to. I do think that having some FPS experience certainly helps other players dive into playing the sniper in TF2. And I think it works in the other direction as well. Getting good at clicking on heads in TF2 probably helps you do the same in other first-person shooter games, so it's all good practice. Another point that I wanted to address was the influence of primarily playing one class, or maining a class, and what impact that has on someone's aiming style when they go to play sniper. This thought is what sparked my idea to create this video in the first place, so I would love to hear other people's experiences with this. One thought that I had was that Scout and Heavy mains may be better at tracking movement and hitting shots consistently than a projectile-based main like Soldier and Demo. Speaking from experience, I know that Soldiers tend to perform a lot more flick shots than other classes, and I find that playing Soldier for a while and then trying to snipe causes me to take a lot more flick shots, at least at first. I have to kind of adapt to the thought that I am now playing Sniper, a class that requires a lot more precision and accuracy than something like Soldier. I'm curious to know if anyone else has noticed their aiming style is impacted by the class that they main or primarily play. Please let me know in the comments what your experiences are with this. I look forward to reading those. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this dive into the aiming styles of the Sniper in Team Fortress 2 as I see them. Drop a like if you did enjoy it. If I missed a particular aiming style or any other quirks about this topic, please let me know in the comments section below. Share this video with your Sniper main friends so that you can get them riled up about anything that I got wrong in this video. Be sure to subscribe for more nuanced discussions about TF2. And until next time, I'll see you guys later.
So much health. Is that 2 spec?
Soldier. Okay.
Boing, boing, boing. Everybody get your ass to the boing.
Can I get some help here? Soldier on the cart. He's low.
I've got it for you, you moguls!